Speaking of hockey, coming up on February 1st in Saskatoon at the Merlis Belcher Center, it is the Winter Classic for the Rough Rider Foundation, big charity event. It's Team Chris Getzlaff, coached by Kian Schaefer-Baker, taking on Brett Lawther's team, coached by a Joe. Somebody's got to get one of those guys the Reg Dunlop jacket. Probably a Joe. First, get him to watch Slapshot. He's a Canadian kid, though. He's probably watched Slapshot. He's a big Brooks Bandits fan. And get those guys on the bench with a little plaid suit, leather coat. Get a book, underline certain scenes. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Great night for Western Pizza if you're not going to go eat hot dogs at the Brandt Center. Perfect pizza, all the Greek food that you love, like souvlaki, ribs, and salads. Noah Zerr joining us again. You're a friend of the program. This is like 2 times in the last month. I feel super privileged. You're up there in Saskatoon. So now word on the street is you are going to be twirling in this hockey game up there. Can you confirm that?
Yeah. I don't know about twirling. More like trying not to fall on my face every 30 seconds, but it'll be fun. Fun. It's always a good time.
Do you know what team you're on?
No, I think they usually do it's like a fun little draft announcement like the night before. You have no idea. Everything kind of gets picked behind the scenes. Then you show up and they announce the teams, and there's some rah back and forth in the old lounge about who's going to score the most goals and which team's going to win. And we end up usually scoring 10 goals aside and going to a shootout somehow every year, but it's a blast.
That's awesome. Kian Schaefer-Baker as a coach or a Joe? What does it? Which one would you lean to? Which one would be more your kind of? Who would be the player's coach there?
Honestly, I feel like they're. It's hard to go wrong with either of them. You know what I mean? They're both fun-loving, kind of goofy guys, but they're very similar to each other. They're both kind of raw. Like get the boys hyped up and get them to go run through some faces and score some goals. And I don't know. It's hard to pick. They both got great style too. So I'm sure one or two of them is going to be rocking amazing suits come game day.
Okay, what height and weight right now for you in the off season is what?
I think I'm about 6'7" and sitting around like 330, 335.
Okay, when's the last time you skated, like in a rec, in a kind of just a pickup hockey game?
Probably the last Winter Classic we had.
Really? So kind of, yeah. You're a once a year guy. You're that guy that's like, where's my gear? Yeah. I didn't even air it out last time.
Yeah, seriously, I might have to do some pregame washing for sure. But it's fun. I grew up playing hockey, so I grew up in a small town of Langenburg and played hockey there for 10 years, and it's always fun to get back on the skates. But yeah, there's definitely some rust to be shaken off.
So I'm not gonna lie, the idea of seeing you in your 6'7" 330-pound glory out there is intriguing. From your standpoint, who are you looking forward to seeing out there, and who do you think fans will get a kick out of seeing?
I wonder if Peter Godward's going to show up again in his football helmet, the Dan Clark-esque get up. I'd love to see him out there. He was such a blast last year. He's a good team guy, and he doesn't take himself too seriously, so he's a lot of fun to be around. And yeah, other than that, I think there's plenty of good hockey to be played on both sides. Like I know Ryan Getzlaff was there last year. I'm not sure who's coming this year, but Chris will be there. Like all those guys are just a blast to be around. So it'll be fun to just get back on the ice and see who plays the best after a year off.
I skated with Brett actually last week. I was supposed to skate last night again. I couldn't. He scored 3 sick backhand goals in the game. And I'm not talking like come in and just like little backhand. Like we're coming in on an angle, not a lot of room, shelved it. So he's like training. You could tell. Like he's getting ready for this thing, which is awesome. We're having him on the show, I think Friday this week. When we're in Kenora, we're going to have him on. So let's go back to the Langenburg piece here. Because when we had you on, of course, Langenburg, Jess Moskaluk, and you, right? The two pride of Langenburg. But when you go back to when you were playing, I guess probably Adam, Pee-wee-ish, maybe Bantam in there, were you the biggest kid on the ice?
Oh, by far. It was a bit crazy. I think every time I took the ice, you heard parents complaining from the sidelines going, there's no way that kid's 10 years old. There's just no way. I think I was
just birth certificate controversy.
Skates. Yeah. They just had to trust that I was of age, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, it was a bit crazy. I made up for it with my lack of coordination and my overall hockey skill. So they didn't have too much to worry about. But yeah, there was definitely some fear every now and then.
What position did you play?
I started off as a center.
Whoa. That's a lot to handle down low.
Yeah, center and winger mostly.
Forward.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
You think with your size, they'd just be like, we're putting him on the point.
Yeah, maybe. They probably should have, but I think growing up, I might have had a lack of skill at skating backwards, so they didn't want me at the last line of defense.
300 and what was it? 320-ish poundage you're weighing? 340?
Like, 330 around there.
What kind of flex do you use hockey stick wise?
Oh, the stiffest one you can find.
Like you might as well go with the old wood ones, and for safety issues.
Yeah. I think I have it's a Bauer Total 1 that I bought when I was in like grade 12, probably. And
you might need to tape two together
for me. Yeah, honestly, I've had to put a plug in every stick I've ever used, and still barely works.
Oh,
it is fun.
That is so that is a big body on skates. Like even the rivets on skates and all that. Like when you skate, people are gonna hear you come. I love it. I think.
Oh yeah.
And I would, to be honest, if I was a Joe or Kean Schaefer Baker, it's like park yourself in front of that net, especially on the power play, and then we'll have guys buzz around and rebound, and then you just cause havoc in front of the net there. No, it's
that was pretty much every coach I've ever had. Teaching point. Just park right in front of the net. Don't go anywhere. Don't do anything else.
The parents are yelling, "Get that goon off the ice!"
Yeah.
How old is he? Seriously. Works at the mine. Can us talk some football here? That's going to be a lot of fun.
For sure.
When I say the name Trevor Reed, like what comes to mind after playing with him last year?
I had the pleasure of playing beside Trevor for most of the year. Just kind of through practice, and then we started, I think, 4 games beside each other. So I've had some experience with him for sure, and he's like probably a world-class athlete. He can handle a playbook pretty well. I think there were some new concepts that some of us Canadian guys helped him with a little bit. Don't want to take too much credit. He's his own man, and he worked his butt off all year long and started every regular season game we had. And in a year like last year, that was a bit uncommon. So he's a warrior, and he fought through a lot of things, and yeah, I'm just so happy to see him kind of having success and going to the NFL and getting a shot, because I think he deserves it for sure.
What do you think is the biggest thing that he'll need to overcome in order to stick, to make an impact?
I think it's hard to say. I don't think he lacks anything physically. I think physically he's a specimen. Like last year, we'd finish a long drive and he'd run to the end zone and do a backflip. right? Like he's 310 pounds and flying through the air.
Wow.
He's probably the most athletic lineman we had by a stretch. I think for him to have success, he's just gotta get to work. And yeah, I think it's the NFL, right? So you're not there for very long, and you got to make the best of your opportunity. And I think he has all the tools to do that. And I think honestly, good things will happen.
Other side of the ball, a couple of signings this week. Rider fans are excited for sure. Jameer Thurman and Malik Carney are back in the fold.
Huge. I think it's huge for us. I had the pleasure of playing with Malik and Thurman when I was in Hamilton 2 years ago, I guess now, and they were the key pieces then, and they're the key pieces now. I think we have a lot of great defensive players, and you can't take anything away from those guys like Micah and CJ Revis and all these guys that are just amazing athletes. But Thurman and Carney were showstoppers for us last year. They were amazing and just fun to watch.
And it kind of, talked to Coach Mace, I think it was last week, and it's like any job, any profession, that if your contract's up and I want to stay here, you want to, this is good. It's a good fit. The re-signing of guys that we're seeing in Rider Nation, it's a testament to what's going on with the organization in that locker room with the coaches.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think it's a culture change. I think it's where guys want to be. I think I'm super excited as a rider and as a fan of the Riders kind of growing up. I think we're kind of coming back to that culture that I think we were at around that 2013 and 07 Grey Cup. It felt like a family, and it felt like these are guys that you could have lunch with, and these are guys that kind of understand what it means to live and work in Saskatchewan. And I think this is kind of the second coming of that. I think these guys are happy to be here, and they're excited to get to work, and they're excited to just represent Rider Nation.
The one thing that came out in early December was the report card on every team. And, some teams are complaining about their planes, and it's the Winnipeg. It's like, it's not your plane. It belongs to WestJet. But, anytime I've ever been around what you guys are doing there at Mosaic Stadium, like it is first class, above board around, you come from the Huskies organization on the college front. They do everything top notch there as well. Pretty tough to nitpick, to find things that are wrong with the organization when it comes to a report card like that.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think from the moment I first walked in the door, I had never really been inside New Mosaic until I signed with the team, and they gave me the tour, and right away, there's a lot of good things around the league, and I've had maybe the unfortunate circumstance of seeing a few locker rooms in my short years. But as soon as I walked into Mosaic Stadium, there it was a world of difference. From the training facilities to the rehab stuff to where the trainers work to where we get our food. Just the setup in general. The guys that take care of us, it's A++ probably across the board for me and my teammates.
You've probably been in the Langenburg Warriors senior hockey dressing room somewhere along the lines too. You can kind of tell the guys, hey, I've seen some beauty rooms.
Yeah, I try not to go around advertising, but yeah, you get to see some cool stuff.
And then just the other thing is, last time we had you on, you told the cool story about your dad getting tickets to the Grey Cup. I think it was the 13 Grey Cup. And how awesome that was, and just the family and you being from Sasky and all that. It's a little bit weird, and being a Saskatchewan guy, this, that we don't have a schedule yet. People like to kind of plan things in Saskatchewan around the Rider schedule, and now we're getting into, we're January 15th here. We don't have a schedule.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have too much advice on that, but yeah, I can totally understand where you guys are coming from. I think we're just as nervous on the player side of things. We want to see where guys are lining up and where our bye weeks are and what the season's going to look like. And it's an anxious time for sure, especially heading into February, free agency, lots of change and lots of big steps ahead of us for sure.
Yeah, and it's like we got to get this going. There's weddings. They're planning weddings in Langenburg, and want to do it around Rider games. Like, come on, let's get this out. Okay, it's going to be a lot of fun. February 1st. I can't wait to see it. Like any training before, you got finding an ODR late at night and kind of going to do a little bit on your own, like Dean Youngblood style, or you going into this thing cold?
Probably a little bit of shinny with the guys, some late night beers and a couple post games or something like that.
Perfect. It's
all
awesome.
The training you need.
Yeah. Noah,
sounds right.
Thanks so much for hopping on today, taking some time. It's going to be a lot of fun. Always appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, great to talk to you guys. Thanks again.
Oh, what a beauty. Good Saskatchewan boy. Offensive lineman for our Saskatchewan Roughriders, Noah Zerr, from Langenburg, Saskatchewan. Yeah, Harry, I'm telling you, back end, reach alone, right? Like,
for sure.
But then it's like, yeah, okay, well, just get the puck deep and let him do his thing. Go in front. If you want to go in the corner, go ahead. If not, stand in front. Bang away. Have fun, goalie. Especially if the goalie's like a little guy. Oof. Tough assignment there. It is the all-new Sports Cage. We are streaming at sportscage.com, and we are on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM.